Carl Seville has been around for a long time. For those of you who are familiar with the green building industry, you'll know him from the Earthcraft program and from the work that he did on the Regreen program as well. And Carl taught a session at Greenbuild here that at first glance didn't necessarily seem like it was an easy fit with the green building process on trade contractor management. And I'm lucky enough to have Carl here with me right now to ask a few questions about what happened in that session. So Carl, trade contractor management at first glance doesn't seem like it's part of green building, but you feel it is.
Oh,
explain.
Absolutely. You can't have a quality building unless you manage the whole process all the way through, which includes trade contractors particularly, because most of our houses are built by trade contractors. When you manage trades, it means you have a quality building. Quality building, green buildings are quality buildings. You have to make sure all the work's done right, so all the systems work together, all the processes work, and everything fits together appropriately.
Would you agree that one of the greatest stumbling blocks that we have in the residential construction industry is a poor understanding of how to manage the trades, and that has a direct link with our difficulty to interface with some of the green certification programs?
Oh, absolutely, because we have subcontractors who hire second-tier subcontractors or employees, many of whom aren't particularly well trained, and we go in with expectations that they know how to do it right, when they may or may not know how to do it right, and right is very subjective. Right for them may not be right for you. You want to set your expectations and give them tools by which they can measure whether or not they've met your expectations.
So what types of tools might you use? What is that process?
Well, what I present on is a set of checklists that I put together we had like 25 or 26 checklists that were trade specific: plumbers, electricians, heating contractors, framers, demolition contractors, tile. And what we did in our company was we sat down in a brainstorming session, or several brainstorm sessions we brought in our good trades. We're going to basically say to our plumbers and electricians that we liked, we said, you're going to be able to set the specifications for our company at your level because we like your work. We brought our project managers in and we sat down, had flip charts, and we wrote down everything we wanted our guys to do. We talked about limits of out of plumb, out of square, level, things like that. We set our absolute expectations for everything, distilled them down into single-page checklists for everything we want people to do, hand them to them saying, this is what we want from you.
So you establish the criteria with them, and then from there, there's a process that you want them to follow. There's kind of a first, second, third, fourth, fifth step. Can you just real quickly go through what those steps are that you have people go
Sure.
through?
At the time we signed the contract with the trade contractor, this checklist for their particular trade went through, and it would have all the standard things. It had certain things for pre-construction, some things like make sure that you have a set of plans that say released for construction on them, because I've had people build things to plans that weren't the actual plans.
That's a good one.
Make sure that just standard things like no smoking, no drinking, things like that. And then job-specific things like how we want them to frame it, how we want them to trim it, things like that, what materials to use, what methods to use. And then there's a place for them to check off that they've done everything right, and they have to send that in with their invoice. And when it comes in with their invoice, the project manager goes out and actually checks it to make sure.
So there's an inspection that you build into this process.
Right. They're supposed to inspect their own work, and then we inspect their work.
Wow.
And we didn't release the payments until their work is inspected by them and by us.
You see trade contractor management in the green building process as being a key to getting through it smoothly, but also, I mean, just generally running your business, and you said better building. If someone's trying to do something like a deep energy retrofit or a net zero energy home, how much more important is process in an extreme green type of project versus maybe what we might think of as a light green entry project?
Well, it's critically important.
Does it become increasingly more important? Or
Yeah, it certainly becomes more important because when as you start approaching zero or you start approaching the speed of light, being slightly off course can send you off into another galaxy. So you want to make sure that you've got everything down tight. And
you've used a GPS metaphor in the past when you've talked about this.
Right. There is no GPS for green building. When you make a wrong turn, you are gone. It doesn't tell you went in the wrong direction to make a right turn to go back.
And so this is where this trade contractor management, this process piece, becomes so critical.
Yeah, it puts everything in place, lines up everything you want to do, and put it in order so everybody knows how to follow it.
Good. Carl, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.